Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, August 13th. We have the moon in her place of power in Cancer all day, which of course is going to heighten the feels, heighten our intuition, make us a little bit more nostalgic than normal, maybe reflecting back, romanticizing the past just a tad. We, of course, are very warm, very generous with our affections, with those connections that are tried, tested, and true. We're a little bit more introverted. We're definitely looking to kind of get our inner realm stabilized. And for the most part, we're looking to stick to what is comfortable and familiar. Now, this is a pretty big day here because Venus is going to conjunct the Sun. This is an indicator of her halfway mark through her retrograde, but even more than that, she's kicking off a 584-day cycle. This is her rebirth. This is her resurrection. This is what I've been ranting and raving about for many, many weeks now. We are finally here. So we are going to feel a shift in energies because of that. We are going to orient our mind, our heart space, to really resolving some of the issues that we've been kind of whiny and cryy about. And of course, the hot topics are relationship dynamics, money matters, and overall, where it is that our physical realms just aren't cutting it now that we are this new version of self, emerging for the first time out of the darkness, out of the, let's say, struggle that we all had to go through in order to shed the layers of the old version of self. So it should be an energy-pack-filled kind of day, and we're definitely going to have some heart activations to accompany that. You should take a listen to this week's Ascension forecast if you haven't already to get the lowdown on what is going on, what energies are at play, and how we can definitely see the results of this in our physical bodies with some of those ailments, dysfunctions coming to the surface of our awareness. So there are 10 different aspects here today. 8 of them are going to involve the moon. Right out of the gate, we have the moon in Cancer energy sextiling, which is a beautiful interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. Jupiter is in Taurus energy, a fixed earth sign, really giving us a very low, slow, steady opportunity to build ourselves up in our self-worth, in our self-confidence, recognizing where it is that we have to change some things, transform some things, especially in our physical realm, how it is that we're taking care of our physical bodies, how it is that we need to establish new routines in order to support our overall to-do list, where it is that we have to kind of manipulate and transform some of our energy exchanges in our personal relationships, and of course create new opportunities to make some money, to really provide ourselves with safety, security, and stability in all of the areas that of course Taurus energy rules over. So this particular interaction is going to be a certain aha moment, a certain revelation of us feeling positive, feeling confident, rising to the challenge of really recognizing where new foundations, new routines, new structures need to come into formation. We have to kind of create new opportunities for us to kind of lay the foundation down on where it is that we're moving away from certain aspects and where it is that we have the desire to move closer to certain aspects. And of course, with Jupiter in this Taurus energy until May of 2024, it may not feel like we're making much progress, but trust me, looking back, we will see that this was a major time for change, for transformation, especially in our physical realms. The moon will then sextile another beautiful interaction with Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves, who of course is in his place of power in Virgo energy. Yes, he is in his pre-retrograde shadow period, which means that things are slowing down just a tad in the mental plane, believe it or not. But because of the Virgo energy kind of honing in on the smaller details of our thoughts, of our ideas, of situations and circumstances in order to identify the problem so that we can go ahead and fix it, we're definitely not feeling that slower energy take place as of yet. We, again, have tunnel vision. We are really looking to grow grow, to improve, to progress. And this Virgo energy is the fixer and solver of the zodiac. So you best believe that we are really kind of fine-tuning what needs to change, what needs to transform, especially where our physical realms are concerned. Now, the moon representing our heart space, our emotions, our intuition, and essentially the past in this Cancer energy. And of course, Mercury in its place of power in this Virgo energy. This is the heart and head coming together. This is the heart and head getting in alignment. We're in agreement about something. We're recognizing where things need to change. We're recognizing where we have to take better care of ourselves. We're recognizing what is broken in order to fix it. And having this realization puts us in a great placement of power of being able to actually do something about it. So this is, let's say, an aha moment, a subtle, logical, practical aha moment on where it is that emotionally and intuitively speaking, we are really meshing the best of both worlds between our heart space and our head space. Okay, so 7:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, who is retrograde in the heart and soul of the zodiac in this Leo energy, coming up to, bumping into, conjuncting the sun in Leo energy. So the sun is in his rulership in Leo energy. And again, as we've been discussing, anytime that the sun aligns with the planet, infuses it with new energy, we start a brand new cycle. This particular interaction is the halfway mark of Venus's retrograde. Even more than that, we're closing the door on the last 8 years. Even more than that, we're opening the door up to the next 8 years. Even more than that, we're kicking off a 584-day cycle that Venus is just eager to rise up in. Again, she's digging herself out of that dark pit. She's saving herself. She's recognizing what she wants to change once she gets to the, let's say, top of the pit, to earth level. And once she kind of is resurrected and she reemerges from this dark pit, you best believe she is going to be standing in her dark feminine energy. She's going to be able to quickly discern who needs to stay, who needs to go. She is bold, she is brave, she is courageous. She will stop at nothing in order to clearly reorganize, restructure her physical life according to her new heart space. So of course, when Venus is involved, relationships are on spotlight. And there is a lot of purging, a lot of releasing, a lot of endings, a lot of completion points, just as there are beginning initiation cycles for relationships as well. Either way, we are going to see a major change, a major transformation in the energy exchange of our relationship dynamics. And we are definitely going to be putting our own wants, needs, and desires first. So yes, we have been sitting in the dark. Yes, we're going to continue to sit in the dark, but we are rising up out of the darkness instead of curled up in the fetal position, crying and whining and complaining about the situations that our ego selves have gotten ourselves into, when of course now the higher self is standing more in power and really wants to redesign the way that our physical realms look in order to be heart aligned instead of ego aligned. So this is a very changing energy. Now, right after, we have the moon in Cancer, getting into the boxing ring, fighting it out, creating tension and conflict with Chiron, the wounded healer, who of course is retrograde in Aries energy. This is going to bring up a lot of fears and doubts and insecurities. This is going to kind of pick the scabs off of some of the wounds in which we've been trying to heal. A lot of this is because we're re-emerging as our brand new selves, again, with Venus's conjunction with the sun. We're rising up. There's a new energy. There's a new identity. There's a new value system. There's new priorities. There are new wants, needs, and desires. But the old self is still attached to us. Again, listen to the ascension forecast. I use the analogy about like a snake shedding its skin. This is the part in which we are essentially detaching ourselves from that old self, that old layer. So because the moon in Cancer is overly attached to the past, there is this remnant where, yes, part of us is standing in our power. Part of us is definitely pushing for our futuristic version of self. But the ego is a funny thing. Every single time we have an opportunity to take a step forward and really evolve, the ego comes into play. The programming, the conditioning comes into play and tries to paralyze us in the action of us trying to move forward so that, of course, we will just stay the same. This is exactly what is going to be highlighted with this particular interaction, is where it is that the fears and the doubts, the insecurities of moving on, of emerging into a higher self, into a new version of self, into a new position of power where we have to kind of cut the cord with some of the situations, circumstances, and relationship dynamics that are no longer serving us. This is our way of kind of romanticizing our current situation and circumstances to kind of settle, if you will, so that we're not pushing ourselves to make all of these changes that we know that we need to make. So of course, this is going to illuminate for us where it is that we got to get a grip over that egoic narrative, where we got to get a grip over the fears, the doubts, the insecurities, and really understand who it is that we've had to be because of the survival situations that we've been in, and who it is that we are now, currently, in order to actually shift into thriver mode instead of staying in survivor mode. So the moon is going to interact with Saturn shortly thereafter. Now, Saturn's the lord of karma. He rules over roles and responsibilities, systems, structures, foundations. He's retrograde, so we're very reflective, very much revising situations, circumstances that have gotten us to this particular point. Now, Saturn is in Pisces energy. So this has a lot to do with our spirituality, our dreams, our imagination, our ability to heal and transform. And really, it's taking a good look at the structure of our beliefs and whether or not our beliefs are actually supporting us in moving forward or holding us back, restricting us from moving forward. Now, Saturn usually brings in a little bit of a reality check. Lucky for us, this isn't a horrible interaction, so we're not going like way down, deep, dark pit in the negative Nancy type of narrative, but we are a little bit serious, we are a little bit somber, we're having a realization, especially with the moon in Cancer, what we've outgrown, what we can no longer pour into. Yes, there's this want, need, and desire to hold on to the past, to hold on to the attachments in which we've currently created, but there is a part of us, again, intuitively speaking, that knows that in order for us to actually align with a new vision and a dream, we actually have to kind of cut the cord, let go of some of the aspects that we know are not going to support us in actually getting there. So this is a little bit of a serious type of attitude on understanding where it is that, you know what, we are kind of holding on to the old and we are essentially blocking ourselves from moving on and embracing the new. The moon in Cancer energy is then going to interact in a positive way with Venus, who is still retrograde, still in this Leo energy, but she's within her first, let's say, couple of hours of this new idea, this new attitude, this new mood, this new resurrection type of energy. So what we're getting here is we're building ourselves up. We're reminding ourselves of what it is that we want, what it is that we need, what it is that we desire, what it is that we feel like we deserve. And a lot of the shifting, especially with our beliefs right now, has a lot to do with, do we actually feel like we are worthy and deserving of the dream, of the goal, of the vision that we're looking to actually manifest? Now, this is a good interaction, which means that this is supporting us moving forward. This is supporting us building a new foundation to not only take care of ourselves, to put ourselves first, to really identify what it is that our heart is asking us to pursue. And anything that is kind of blocking us from doing that needs to be released, needs to be put into its place, needs to be cut off if it is that detrimental to the process in moving forward. So then the moon is going to interact with the sun, of course, the sun in his place of power in this Leo energy. This is a positive interaction, which means that the element of the moon that represents the past and our emotions and our intuition, the sun shining a bright light on where it is that we want to go, there's an overlap. And what the overlap is this present moment of us really seeing where it is that we haven't taken really the best care of ourselves because we've put other people's wants, needs, and desires before our own. And of course, the sun shining a bright light in Leo energy means that We have to get bold and brave and courageous enough to actually put ourselves first, to stand in our truth, to align with a new mission, a path, a purpose, a direction of moving forward, and really stop at nothing until our heart space feels fulfilled. The moon is then going to sextile, beautiful energy, with Mars. Mars is the god of war. He rules over physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger. Mars is in Virgo energy, kind of slowing up the process, if you will. Mars would prefer just to go balls to the walls, take action, deal with the fallout and the consequences later, but we're not having none of that in Virgo energy because it has to be very carefully thought about. We have to be very strategic and calculated with the moves that we have to make in order to fix and resolve some of the issues that we've already identified. So there is a little bit of friction with Mars in this Virgo energy because the Virgo energy, being an earth energy, slows that fire energy of Mars down just a tad. This particular interaction is going to boost our spirits, though. It's going to boost our confidence. It's going to trigger a new level of inspiration, of motivation, of determination in order to actually make things happen, to build something new, to resolve some of the not so nice topics and themes. And what I love about this is that shortly thereafter, Mars is going to have a positive interaction with the North Node in Aries. Again, a reminder, Mars is in his placement of power over this North Node in Aries. He is leading us into the next 18 months of transforming our lives by putting ourselves first and becoming more anchored into this new version of self. So Mars interacting with the North Node in this way is suggesting that we are calculating the next move, the next step forward. We are inspired, we are motivated, we are bossing up to the challenges that are kind of standing before us in order for us to find ourselves on a path in a direction that is really going to honor who it is that we now are. The last aspect that we have here today is the moon in Cancer energy, sextiling, beautiful interaction with Uranus, the great awakener, who of course is in Taurus energy. So what I love about this is that Uranus has the ability to download us with an aha moment, an epiphany, a vision, a dream, an idea that just blows our mind space wide open. It provides us with clarity. It provides us with the emotional breakthrough that we need, especially breaking free from some of the heaviness, some of the depression, some of the funk that many of us have been truly weighted in for far too long. So this particular interaction is going to spark something. It's going to ignite something. It's really going to put us in a position to realize where it is that a dramatic, a spontaneous change is needed, especially in our emotional realm, in order to really rise to the occasion and address some of the concerns in our physical realm, again, Taurus energy, that we've identified is no longer working for us, no longer encouraging us, no longer supporting us, no longer building us up, no longer making us feel good. We've really had enough time to identify all of the things that aren't working for us, and now it is time to do something about it. So this is going to kind of lead us into a revelation of sorts on where it is that we're breaking away from the old and where it is that we're hyping ourselves up for the new.